We are joined right now by Shulamit Aloni. She is in our Firehouse studio. She is a former member of the Knesset, former head of the Meretz party. She has long been an outspoken opponent of the Sharon government. Welcome to Democracy Now! I want to start off by asking you what your comments are on this trial of Marwan Barghouti and what you think he represents.
I accept every word he said. Every word he said, I accept. And the funny thing is, or the sad thing is, that we had in the past the same picture when the Israelis, then under the British government, fought for our freedom and for our self-determination. They used the same tricks to bring people to jail. And on the other hand, the speech was the same speech. We want our freedom, and as long as we won't get our self-determination and sovereignty, we'll have to fight, and at last, peace will win. So exactly the same speech. But what happens is that we use the British colonial laws even in a more barbaric way against the Palestinians. First of all, the British were not occupiers because they got the mandate from the League of Nations. Second, they behaved differently. And we, being occupiers and oppressing the Palestinians, step by step we do the terrible things one cannot imagine by using the British colonial emergency law. For instance, the destruction of houses, the collective punishment, and other things are according to the British emergency law from 1945, which we adopted.
Yours is a voice of criticism we don't often hear in the United States. Often when there is dissent expressed in the United States against policies of the Israeli government, people here are called anti-Semitic. What is your response to that as an Israeli Jew?
Well, it's a trick. We always use it. When from Europe somebody is criticizing Israel, then we bring up the Holocaust. When in this country people are criticizing Israel, then there are anti-Semitic. And the organization is strong and has a lot of money, and the ties between Israel and the American Jewish establishment are very strong, and they are strong in this country. As you know, they have power, which it's okay. They are talented people, and they have power, money, and media, and other things. And their attitude is Israel, my country, right or wrong, the identification. And they are not ready to hear criticism. And it's very easy to blame people who criticize certain acts of the Israeli government as anti-Semitics, and to bring up the Holocaust and the suffering of the Jewish people, and that justify everything we do to the Palestinians.
How powerful are groups like the American Israel Political Affairs Committee, AIPAC, the presidents of major Jewish organizations in the United States? That's another major establishment Jewish organization. How powerful are they in determining policy in Israel?
They are powerful because they serve the right wing of Israeli policy, and because they are backed strongly by the government of the United States. If your administration wouldn't, and not only administration but the Congress as well, wouldn't back those two organizations, then they wouldn't be as strong as they are, because they don't represent the majority of the Jewish people in this country. There are many who say, not in my name, not in my name. What you are doing, what you are saying, it's not in my way, my name. But they are not organized. They don't have the money, they don't have the power. They were not accepted by the American establishment, political establishment, and that's why you hear mainly their voice, and their voice is very strong.
Again, we're speaking with Shulamit Aloni, who has often been referred to in Israel as the First Lady of Human Rights. She was the head of the Meretz Party until her retirement from the Knesset. She received the Israel Prize for Human Rights. You have been quoted as saying the occupation is killing us all.
Yeah, that's right. It's killing the Palestinians, and it's a disaster to the Israelis because, first of all, morally speaking, you know, when we established the State of Israel, and I was one of those in the Palmach and fighting for establishing this state during the War of Independence, we were sure that we are building a model state, a moral state. So when we were weak, we used to speak so highly of the Jewish values. And your people here also speak so highly of the Jewish values. And the Jewish values don't include discrimination against the other and the kind of oppressing the other and to take away their rights. And that's what we have. We deal with the Israeli Arabs as second-rate human beings. We deal with the Palestinians under our oppression and suppression, and you can use every word because we change every town and every village into a camp of a camp. I don't want to use the words because it might remind, you know, different other camps, but people cannot go out. And you have curfew there, and they cannot go to work, they cannot get to a hospital, they cannot go to schools, they are hungry, they have to stay at home, they don't have air conditioning, sometimes they don't have electricity, they are short of drinking water, not of water, of drinking water, while they see the settlers next to them having the swimming pools, having the lawns, in their land, on their land. So we have a real problem. It's killing us morally and it's killing us economically as well. Because in Israel we have a tremendous big number of unemployment, of poverty, of backward people, education, low education in the developing places, the townlets in the north and in the south, and the money goes to the settlers because they get free land. The government gives them a tremendous amount of money. Sharon was the person before he became the prime minister. He was a minister of agriculture, minister of Minister of Defense. He was a minister during the war in Lebanon. He was a minister of
And he was
trade.
thrown out because of presiding over the massacres at Sabra and
Yeah,
Shkila.
and no one understands why he became such a hero, and your prime minister says that he's a man of peace.
What do you think has to happen?
What has to happen? If there won't be... why I say that I agree with every word was said by Burgodi, because as long as the occupation is there, there won't be peace. As long as the occupation is there, they will fight. And I don't believe that Sharon and his people and the Zealots can deport 3 million people or to make them slaves, as some of them suggested. And unfortunately, your government didn't prepare its homework, and many things they don't know. As the minister or the secretary of defense in your country say that the occupation is not occupation, there was a war, so we have the right to take their land, their property, the land. He should have read the international laws and the conventions which say that you cannot by power annex land or put settlements there. And
we have 10 seconds.
You have 10 seconds. The only thing is, when your government will understand that the only backing they have to give to the conflict in Israel is to stop the occupation, to stop the settlers, to tell Mr. Sharon to stop the crimes against humanity and against human people, individuals, and to stop taking away citizenship from people, which is a criminal thing to do.